I have my coffee, and we are stuck in our heads. Wait, is that the intro? Did I do
Wait,
the intro
what?
right?
You
No,
Did
idiot.
no, fuck. I totally.
it's been 2 weeks. We took a week off because you
1
spilled
week.
beer on your computer,
I
and
was
you
gonna
have the
apologize
audacity
for that.
to
I was gonna
screw
fucking.
up the intro.
I spilled.
You fucking
This is a good
idiot.
podcast.
Holy
I actually have to go.
Oh.
I have to go, actually. It was fun, though.
All right.
Oh,
I'm stuck in my head. I know. I'm not stuck in my head. I have my coffee and we're recording.
that's the one. There you go.
Nick is right. Nick is right. We were on a real roll. We were very consistent, going on a weekly basis, getting the podcast out at least once a week. And then I drunkenly on Valentine's Day spilled beer on my MacBook Pro,
Not that
which
you
prevented
drink
us.
ever, of course not. But,
No, I
you know.
never drink. I would never have alcohol in my system. But beer and IPA did end up all inside my MacBook Pro, and my MacBook Pro did shut down for a period of time. So we could not record at our normal time because I just wasn't able to do that. So I do apologize to Nick and Hash and the
And to you.
audience
And to you, listener.
and to myself. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And to listener, not me. Fuck me, dude. Absolutely not. No, that's stupid.
You're patting it
Everything's
and,
about you, Brendan.
And if Nick wants a letter of resignation on his desk, he will have it. I will help look for the replacement. We won't pay you. And the opening will probably be given to Hash, as he's been dying to take it from me since
That's false.
day
That's
one of the
wrong.
podcast.
That's
But we're
simply
stuck in our
wrong.
heads.
Okay. Yeah,
We're stuck
we
in
are
our
stuck
heads,
in our
guys.
heads.
Yeah, we're stuck in our heads.
Yeah.
Finally.
So Brendan, what are you stuck in your head about?
Oh man.
By the way, we also didn't do. I'm Jonathan,
Oh
yeah.
Nick.
We're really fucking up. I'm Brendan, and we are.
and we're stuck in
We're
our
stuck
heads.
in our
Okay,
heads.
Stuck in our
so
heads.
what are you stuck in your head
Truly
about?
somewhere else. Truly somewhere else tonight.
Man, this is crazy. I haven't even started drinking yet. Not that I drink. Hash asked what I'm stuck in my head about. And it's not that, crazy what I'm stuck in my head about. Just being an adult in general, and like being independent and having to take on certain responsibilities that, like, yeah, I was told I was going to have when I was growing up and younger, but now I actually have to do. I actually have to figure things out all by myself and answer very uncomfortable phone calls in which insurance people are trying to trap me into insurance, upon certain agreements and whatnot.
You answer those phone calls?
Well, no, but it was from my actual insurance company. It wasn't like a random. It wasn't like your car's extended warranty. No, it was like actual. No,
I get those bi-weekly.
No, I mean I get them in the mail too, which is extra annoying. But no, I got a phone call today from my insurance company, and they were like, for my auto insurance, and they were like, "Hey, Brendan, you don't have your own insurance plan, and we need to fix that." And I was like, "What the hell are you?" I absolutely have auto insurance. I wouldn't have been able to buy my car 2 months ago if I didn't have auto insurance. It's fucking crazy. What are you talking about? And they were like, no, there's nothing here. We need to figure that out. And so I had this moment of panic because I didn't know what was going on. And all I could see in my head was, oh, I now have to spend more money a month. That's it. That's the only solution now, is I now have to just take on more debt. Going to Penn State was awesome. Loved Penn State. That was a fantastic, decision, and I don't regret it. If there's a level underneath regret, though, every time I hit these student loan payments per month, I don't regret my decision to go to Penn State, but there is this kind of underlayer of, oh man, if I just gone to fucking cheaper school. So just these are all decisions and things that I've just got piled on inside my head all the fucking time that I know it's gonna be okay, but I do almost worry about tomorrow. What if something happens? I spill beer on my MacBook Pro and then don't have a MacBook Pro anymore. That's something
you have to get a Chromebook.
Yeah, no,
no.
I've had a Chromebook. I'm sorry. It was terrible. It was the worst piece of shit I will not. I'd rather
What
like.
if Google's listening to this?
I'd
right now,
rather
right?
I'd rather buy
Yeah,
a
shout
whole
out-
recording on vinyl setup
Yeah,
than
for
get
sure.
a Chromebook.
For sure. No, I'd rather just record the entire podcast on my fucking phone than
Book
than
a
go and
studio
spend
in
even.
the 1970s
exactly.
for
So,
30 cents an
that's-
hour.
So dealing with the stresses of money as an adult, like as a person, is what I'm stuck in my head about today.
That's fair.
I feel you. That's yeah.
That's all I can say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happens all the time, and and it's not like, and I feel like in school and in college there were stressors in our lives that had an end point. I just have to push through this one thing to
one
get
thing.
it done, and then I'll be less stressed.
Yep.
And now it's like a continuous thing that's never ending. I mean, it sounds really terrible to say, but I mean, you know what I mean? Because one thing leads to another, right? So you want to buy a car, but then you have to buy the insurance, and it has less gas mileage, so you have to pay more for gas, and then wear and tear on the car as well, and then it's like a continuous layers of responsibility that are never ending. So.
Yeah, I just want to be a kid. I just want to be a child and play video games.
That's why you're an actor.
Audition.
That's why you're an
card
actor,
bills,
bro.
Yeah, no, I know. I want my mom to drive me to all my auditions, so I don't have to worry about any of this shit. I just want to be able to do it and go home and go to take a nap with a bottle in my mouth. Anyway,
take it. Oh
well,
God,
you don't have to be a kid to fall asleep with a bottle.
I'm still depressed. I'm still depressed.
The bottle
changes
changes
like every week, dude.
The bottle does change. The bottle
changes, but the napping, the cry napping doesn't.
It is cry napping. It is falling asleep at 4 p.m. and drowning in my tears.
In a puddle of tears.
And then waking up at 3 a.m. and spitting up and then going back to sleep. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, dude. We nailed it. We never grow up. That's not a real thing.
The first 3 years of your life and your life in your 20s.
Anyway, Nick, tell us what do we have in store today?
Anyway,
what's in store?
Do we have a treat for you? Boy, do we have a treat for you today.
No.
We are continuing our series. We're continuing our series of interviews where we mostly interview people that we went to Penn State with. I think we're batting 1,000 in that department.
Yeah, I was about to say we definitely have went to school.
One day we're gonna meet new people and interview them. But for now, you stick to the devil you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this guy that we have lined up for you tonight. Oh boy.
Big man on campus.
Oh boy, do we go
Big
back.
man on campus.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about our guest from the United State of Connecticut. Our guest is a Penn State musical theater class of 2019 grad, but he almost wasn't, and we're going to talk about that going forward.
Oh,
he was in productions.
Deep dive.
He was in productions. He was in productions of 110 in the Shade, Be More Chill, Peter the Starcatcher, Legally Blonde, Hands on a Hard Body, and was in the Alex Sage Oyen and Nora Bridget. I hope I'm pronouncing that middle name. Monahan's Tyrants and Nora Bridget Monahan's Aunt Jack. And our guest was in the reading of Love and Hate Nation, Joey Conis's newest musical, Love and Hate Nation.
Exciting.
You may follow him. You may follow him at JBO Games on Twitch. A lot of fun. You can follow him at Jackalodian4 on Instagram. Our guest is an actor, a writer, a photographer, a freelance animator, and the most profuse sweater I know. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Bowman.
The words that you said, oh, it ain't hard to tell whose voice is in my head, just telling me to hold on, and you'll see that we can be so just keep
Wow. What an intro.
What an intro. How are you going to live?
And that's our show,
up?
guys. Good night. Thank you very much.
That's it.
I'm already drenched, so that's one thing down.
That's it. We're done.
That was
What's
lovely.
up, Jack?
When you were what's up? When you were saying that it was from the United State of Connecticut, I thought you were just going to say that it was from the United States of America, and I was like,
I was
enough.
so ready for it.
True
I was like, okay,
we don't need to be specific.
You can't take that as a given at Penn State. I'm not from the U.S. Boom.
What?
Yeah. First time on the podcast.
I don't know if you knew this, but
where are you from, Israel,
we haven't mentioned it ever.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so brand new information.
My friends, my colleagues, how are you doing?
Good.
I just said that as if
dude.
this is my podcast.
It is.
Jack,
This is our final episode, Jack. This is your burden to carry.
It's Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're taking over.
You're the last guest. You're the last person that we're ever interviewing. Now
That
this
would
is
be-
your shit show.
That
Have
would be
fun.
very sad for you.
Good
guys.
luck, dude.
We're signing off.
It would be
Anyway,
done in a
Jack,
second.
what have you been up to since graduating?
I was just about to ask.
Oh,
Fuck
Me
you,
too.
Nick.
I was also
Jesus.
going to ask too. Also,
graduation feels like it's either 3 days ago or like 35 years ago.
it was both.
There's been I mean, obviously I don't drink, but if I did drink, there would be a lot of drinking in between. So I don't know if that's played into how the length of time that it feels like. I've been doing things. I got off to a start in the beginning.
Start.
Yeah, just like I 2 days after graduation, I started rehearsals for a new play, which we can talk about at any length, and then things started, and then they kind of slowed down, and then the pandemic hit, and they really slowed down. In terms of theater.
Where are you right now?
I am in the great city of New York.
Okay.
I'm in Manhattan right now.
But you weren't there through the entire pandemic, right?
No, so I moved here in May, like after graduating because of the play, and I was like, well, I should probably get a place to. I don't want to be commuting for like a 4-hour rehearsal and spend 3 hours total round trip on a train because I'm from Connecticut, as
Right.
Nicholas mentioned. But no, yeah, when the pandemic hit, like I think like March 12th or 15th, something, I went down to Florida where my lovely parents live, because it's the land of older people.
And that's where your
call
family became famous on TikTok for a second there.
Oh my God, yes. Yes. Famous is a strong word. Although I was talking to someone who doesn't know my parents at all, and they were like talking about TikTok, and I was like, yeah, I posted one TikTok and like it got like 280,000 views. And then I was describing it, and they're like, oh no, that was on my For You page. I've seen this. I've seen your sister and your mother on TikTok, and I don't know them at all. So anyway, yeah, I'm extremely famous is what I'm trying to say.
All from this one TikTok. Which you weren't even in. But
no,
It was
all
a
I do
nightmare to
is
get
laugh.
you on with your fame, dude.
Yeah. It consisted of a text, actually.
A singular one.
But
Hey,
yeah,
dude, do you want to do it? And then,
it was like, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, no duh. Yeah, so I was in Florida for like 4 months. If you haven't been in Florida for longer than 1 week at a time, that is an awakening of kinds to spend.
Why? What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, hey, all the love to Florida. Just some of the people were a lot to handle amidst a pandemic, and all the other problems that were going on around the same time. So it was interesting to view that. And also when you're in a warm state, which 80% of it is a beach and you can't leave your house, was interesting. And then also 4 months, I love my parents to death. They're my favorite people. 4 months in a house with them was enough. I had my time. It was great.
Yeah.
But then I
get it.
needed to come home, and then I've been here basically ever since. I live
So
alone.
after that, you came back into the city.
Yeah. I came to the city. My parents, they were in the middle of moving, so I've been kind of back and forth sometimes to Connecticut to help with that. But other than that, yeah, I've been in New York.
What was that like coming back into the city? Because I remember when I came back into the city, because I also left when COVID hit, and then I came back for work. When I remember getting off the train and walking into Times Square for the first time mid pandemic, that was like a wild feeling.
Trippy,
that was
dude.
Yeah,
it's
very much
trippy. I mean, like, granted, I came back like in the fall, so it was like New York kind of figured out how to do it, and
sure.
which has been great, you know, in these times. I don't like go out that much, but like you're able to go grab a drink on the street with someone, you know, if you're safe about it. And New York has been pretty safe about it.
Brave the snow.
You're right. I mean, I love the cold and snow because I'm a ginger boy. And so the sun and heat don't love me. But yeah, I mean, it's in like, if it's ever like too cold, I'm like, yeah, throw on a jacket, whatever, or eat on your couch, which I'm like, guys, you don't need to go out to eat inside. Just eat on your couch with the same people you were going to go out with. I don't anyway, but all this to say is that coming back to New York was
but then I have to clean my apartment, Jack. I don't have to do that.
Listen, the only reason pre-pandemic I would invite people over to my apartment is so that I had to clean my apartment. And then
you had a reason.
Yeah. When I started like doing Zoom calls or like streaming, I like had to clean my room because I'm like, it's in the background.
You only have to clean like that corner.
Oh yeah, no.
What's behind you?
The camera is specifically positioned because my bed is a tragedy right now.
So wait. So tell. So you were saying that you were like using your camera for other stuff, right? Like gaming and like you're streaming on Twitch, right?
Yeah.
So that's as like a supplemental thing to acting. Which you started, right?
Totally. I mean, like, all of the weird things, or not weird things, but things that aren't theater related that I've been doing in the pandemic have really sprouted from acting, which is cool. When I was writing a lot, we can get into that if we want to talk about my year abroad in English. But like that's great. That, and so yeah, I was thinking about it today because I'm like, why did I start streaming in the first place? And it's really just something that I've always wanted to do because I thought it was so cool. And like most of the content that I consume, like on YouTube or Twitch, I mean obviously on Twitch, but like on YouTube, it's always like people having fun or like drinking and playing video games just kind of as a background or like a jumping off point. And it's really just improv from there. It's improv where you don't really need to play a character. It's just yourself. And like what I found in like the post-production when I would do some highlight videos or like funny things, the editing is like really how you like write the setup and the punchline of things that just came naturally during a stream. But before I started streaming, I just was playing video games because I'm a nerd boy. I would just like find myself cracking jokes to myself in the least sad way possible. Hopefully,
we'll try our best to not cry right now.
Yeah. Don't leave the crying to me, Hashmo. It's all right. But I would just like, it was like kind of practice. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm just going to do it. Cause why? I have everything I need. Why wouldn't I?
Love it.
And so I just did it. And I remember my first stream that I did was to date. I mean, it slowed down a little bit from cause other work stuff popped up, but the first stream that I did was like my favorite stream ever still, mostly because I didn't have the view count next to me. I didn't give a shit about any of that. I didn't think about like, oh, I need to be playing these games because that's what's like in the pocket of Twitch streaming right now. It's not too popular, but it's popular enough. And thinking about all these things. I wasn't thinking about that. I was just playing Crash Bandicoot 4 because I wanted to. And I was just having a great fucking time. And
by the way, that game is the bane of my existence. I hate that.
And it makes for a perfect stream because I was getting pissed, but I was still having fun. And like I have still like 10 hours worth of content that I loved recording and I forget all about, and I want to just, you know, if there's ever a slow period again, I'm going to get back to making highlight videos of that because I've only used like an hour and a half of like 10 to 12 hours of content.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was so much fun because I wasn't thinking about anything. And then I got in my head a lot of like, well, I need to play this game. And, oh, I should play with this person because they have so many followers. And granted, that got me to Twitch affiliate, which is where you can start making a little bit of money, was because I played with the right people and I did the right things, and it, got me to that point. But it felt more like a job all of a sudden, which was weird.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, I want to go back to not playing Among Us with 12 people because I should.
Right.
But I had a lot of fun during those, but I was like, a lot of like, that's when I would get like the most people watching me, was when I would play Among Us or Rocket League, or like the thing that everyone wants to watch on Twitch. And I'm like, it's the most I've ever seen the grind, which is hilarious coming from a place of theater. It's like been so much more of like, well, you have to do this shit to do this shit. And then I was like, I just want to have fun again. So then I just stopped caring about if anyone watched, and I would stream whenever I wanted. I didn't have a schedule.
Right.
Granted, I wasn't.
But that's interesting though,
as
right?
a means.
No, I was just going to say, it seems like a microcosm of like acting, a little bit. You start because you love it and you're just interested in it, and it's just something that you're like a cool thing that you love to do, and then all of a sudden it becomes a job.
Yeah.
Like, this is
and I don't like doing this show, but a lot of people are going to come see it, and it's going to give me a lot of money, but like it sucks.
And it's going to look good on my resume, so I can get to this point.
Exactly.
Yep.
I met this person who can give me that. Yeah, totally. And like, you have to be your own manager and your own everything.
I wonder if that's all art, like all. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Twitch gaming can be considered an art form.
I mean, it's entertainment.
I think
at
so.
least.
I think
entertainment. Sure.
Yeah.
Entertainment.
I would definitely consider it an art form, because there's strategy to it in that, as Jack was saying, there are certain things you have to do, and there are certain moves you should be making, and then there's also, I think Jack described it perfectly. It's improv without playing a character as such. It's going to be a little bit more boosted up, I suppose, like your own and Jack, if you disagree, let me know, but your own personality and you're kind of putting it on display for people to see. And like I would say that video games can also trigger a lot of very vulnerable moments for people. There are like probably reels of them that I see on like Snapchat of just the most, and they'll never be called this, but the most vulnerable moments of so and so Twitch streamer of that week. Yeah, right. No, I mean that's 100% true.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you made that parallel. Do you think that that's something that you're going to continue? I mean, I guess you're on a different path now, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm on so many paths, and it's like one step onto the path, and then like no end in sight or any idea of what it is. So I want to, and like that's the beauty of it, is like I can always just jump back into it if I want to. And yeah, I mean, I would like to do it some more, and explore that some more, because I kind of stopped for a while, because it was time consuming, which is fair.
What other stuff do you have like that you're on a path on?
Right. So it actually started from the streaming, and when I was highlighting or making highlight videos, editing that, my buddy Alex Ajoyan, that we were briefly talking about.
Just name drop like that. That's fine.
Well, Nick already did it, man. Listen, Nick already did it. All right, it's fair game. All right,
fair game.
But he contacted me after like watching a stream one time, and he really wanted to start a podcast. So, because he was like, I see that you edit videos and you have the equipment and blah blah blah, and yeah. So then I was kind of focused on that, and then it shifted now, as was also briefly mentioned. I randomly am an animator now. I don't know how or why, but it
just
happened. My name is actually Jack Pixar Bowman. It's a little known fact.
You've already changed it, damn.
No, actually, I was named after Pixar.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my parents knew. They were like, the way that he grabs at his umbilical cord looks like a pen.
Oh God!
I said umbilical cord. Okay, could have gone somewhere else.
He's going to be a writer or an animator, and you were an English major, so.
Oh, jeez, dude.
Actually, though, that actually is true. I didn't mean to say that, but my umbilical cord was wrapped around my throat, and I did pull it up off, so I didn't choke to death, which is good.
What a story, dude.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
dude, you saved your own life, bro.
I saved my own life.
I came out of the womb with my umbilical cord around my neck, so I was like, I don't want to be here already. Like,
see, I got close enough, and then I was like, I'm good.
Nah, I think.
Oh man,
I'd rather just stay inside, which is my life in a nutshell.
Like, that's what you said.
I don't want to go back in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, been here for a second.
There are things I could say that I'm not going to.
All right.
To spare your dear listeners.
Wait, but have you ever like drawn before?
Talk to us about animating, bro.
Dude, okay, so here's the thing. I for my entire life, I've always been so jealous of people that can draw because I'm like,
me too.
If I put pen to paper, it doesn't work. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I feel like that's a great trait for an animator, you know?
Yeah, it's really good to like have never taken a class, not knowing what the hell I'm doing. And no, so like actually like the first time I did any sort of visual art was back way back senior year of college, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever.
It feels like way back.
It really does, man. I just thought about that apartment. And I was like, Jesus, that's like 29 years ago, give or take. But I thought that I could by myself make a video game. I can't do that. I haven't taken enough coding classes, which you do need to take to do that.
Those sound important.
Yeah, I guess. But I was making characters for it, and I wanted it to be pixely, so I did like 8-bit characters, and I was like, this is a good limitation because it doesn't need to look realistic. It's just like with Mario, he doesn't have a detailed face. It's like there's a hint of an eye, kind of a weird thing, and you're like, oh, that's a nose. So like having that limitation, which like is my favorite thing about creativity, is that creativity comes from limitations, which is all over video games, especially early days of Nintendo, because a photo on your iPhone is like 10 N64 cartridges, like literally, like they had nothing to work with. But from that, you get some of your favorite music because they only had 5 notes that Link could play on the ocarina. Yeah. Every single, because there are only that many buttons. Like, you know, they were limited by that. And yet they wrote beautiful music with 5 fucking notes. And it's amazing. I don't know, stuff like that. Anyway, so that's where I started. And then in quarantine, of course, because here we are, I was just like watching a bunch of videos, and like I followed this great illustrator on Instagram, and I loved his style because it has that simplicity, but it also is a little bit more realistic, obviously, than like 8-bit or like pixel stuff. So I just can
you tell us who it is?
Yes. Let me make sure I get it right. I'm pretty sure it is called Blue Turtle Design, but let me just Blue Turtle _ design. And he's been doing like this awesome
oh wow, yeah.
He's been doing this awesome like story, like comic book style, where like every couple weeks he'll post
I love this
image, and it's really cool. And like but like the characters are simple and the details are like, here's a line, and you like know that that's like so much detail. So I did a few things like that. That's how like I
just started, for fun, right?
And then just for fun, because in the beginning of quarantine, I was like, I can't just work out and then drink every single day. I need to do something, and obviously also tend to my island and Animal Crossing. I don't know.
That's necessary. That's necessary.
I'm so glad that trend has passed. Jesus.
Me too. It was way too much stress for something that meant nothing. I was so stressed every day.
I still love it though. I really do. I don't play it nearly as much, but I do still love it. Yeah.
I love that it was up for a game of the year. Like next to
that's disgusting. Like that's disgusting.
No,
I hate that.
But it makes it took over the world, as it should. I mean,
that doesn't mean that it's a good game. Okay, we're not getting into this.
No, hold on.
It is a good game.
Wait a second. If it gets rave reviews and gets so popular, I don't know how you can argue that
popularity. Add populum, Brandon. If everyone likes it, it can't be awful.
Yeah. No, I think that no. Hold on, that's a very genuine thing. If enough people like it, it means it's good. It means it's good. It means
I'm not talking about the reviews. I'm talking about popularity. Popularity does not mean quality. Popularity means trends.
Just to
people
note,
like Mr. Brightside doesn't mean it's a good song.
Incredible song.
You better stop. You better shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
I'm the one who said that. I'm the one who said that.
To be fair, the Game of the Year awards are nominated and awarded based on votes alone from anyone. So that's just so that we know. So this could be a bunch of 10-year-olds or people who've never played a video game before being like, oh, that is the only game I've ever played. Let's nominate it. Let's get it voted.
Right, but I'm not talking about the award.
2020 Game of the Year.
Obviously, The Last of Us Part 2 won. Oh, you can't see the Part 2.
As it deserved. As it deserved. For
as
sure.
it deserved.
Wow, that's a whole other.
If you wanted to transition this entire podcast into they hate it for the most fucked up reasons. I could make an entire podcast series just on The Last of Us Part 2. I swear to God.
Did you see the girlfriend reviews thing of
I need to watch that. I saw that pop up on my shit and I didn't watch it yet.
Did you see the God of War one?
I saw the remake. I have to say that's the first video.
Best.
That's the first video of theirs that I didn't love.
I don't know. It was
just weird because it was most of the same stuff that she already reviewed.
I agree.
Can we let our audience know what it is we're talking about? I don't know that we've ever mentioned.
Oh yeah, sorry. Nick, girlfriend reviews. It's your baby. So you're the one that introduced it to me.
That was Nick's idea. Girlfriend reviews.
I was like, you gave birth to the girlfriend.
No, I should not get credit for girlfriend reviews. I think Shelby and Matt get credit for girlfriend reviews.
They're gonna watch this podcast and they're gonna sue. They're gonna sue.
Actually, we're gonna tag them. Jack is what we're gonna do. And
I mean, now you can. Now you can throw them in the tags.
Now I can throw them in the tags.
Talk about everything.
And then we get girlfriend review listeners because we talked about them and they listen to the whole podcast.
That's how it works.
Reviews?
That's
fine. When they girlfriend reviews, and then they listen to this, and then they stop listening.
And they're like, theater, Jesus.
But this episode will get lots and lots of views, and we'll feel good about ourselves, and that's really
anyway. Nick, what's girlfriend reviews?
Girlfriend reviews is basically I don't want to explain someone else's story, but it was basically this girl who lives with her boyfriend who she constantly had to deal with him playing video games all the time, and she would have to constantly watch him play video games. So her YouTube channel was like, what if someone made a review of not the video game itself, but what it's like to watch your boyfriend play the video game? Because she's like, I have no idea what this video game is, but it's fun to watch because the colors are crazy. And then she got more, and the more that they did the videos, the more that she got adept to what the video games are. So now it's like, yeah, she's still watching her boyfriend play, but she's also a pretty gamer at this point. So I mean, it's incredible to see that. I mean, that is A+ character development, by the way. I don't know.
What an arc!
Very
what
much.
An arc!
What an arc!
Game of Thrones wished.
Right? Season 8 wished. How I Met Your Mother wished.
100% with that one. 100% with that one.
Anyway, so then
are you doing scratch offs right now, my guy?
No, I found. Listen, this is for Nick and Brendan. I found our old laundry card. Our old laundry card just lying around.
I was like Hash doing scratch offs with the charging port.
Yeah, bro.
Is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Oh my god, I've won.
Sorry.
Well, Jack. Speaking of writing, I mentioned
know where that was
earlier.
going. I thought you were going to say, speaking of girlfriends. Continue. I started sweating so much.
Speaking of writing, and you are sweating, yes. Speaking of writing, I mentioned in your introduction that you nearly didn't graduate in Penn State Musical Theater class of 2019 because you took a golden summer, if you don't mind. You don't mind the phrase. Can you explain?
Jack was my roommate in college, in freshman year of college, and he and I had so many hopes and dreams that we shared with each other in that time as little naive freshmen. And then one day I hear that he's he's dropped out of his musical theater major. And I was like, what's going on? What the hell is going on here?
Brendan, I don't know why my camera's gone blurry. Brendan, I have to tell you, I too was thinking those thoughts as what the hell is going on. How deep do we want to get?
I mean, is deep.
I'll go all the way
as you feel comfortable. Like,
do it, dude.
I mean, I'm sure it wasn't. It's nothing. I'm sure it wasn't an easy decision.
And I'm sure people who are like in college right now are interested to hear like, oh, why would someone drop out,
totally.
or how did that work?
Totally. So it actually started. I started thinking about this summer going into my sophomore year. Is when I started being like, I've been doing this one thing my entire gosh dang life. Maybe I should try and explore some other things. Also at the time, my girlfriend, who I was dating since high school, was going off to college. She was a year younger than I was. She still is. She's alive and well. She is still a year
She's
younger.
Still a year younger than
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know
she's the same age.
Yep.
Yeah. No worries. She's good. Anyway, but so she was going off to like normal person school, and I was like, oh, and she was like telling me about it. I'm like, oh dang, like that sounds like kind of nice, like studying other things and whatever. And she like didn't know what she wanted to do, and I was like, that's kind of interesting, blah blah blah. So I was already in a weird place going into sophomore year, and then first day of school, I had a meeting with the head of the program, and I was like, hey, I am thinking of like taking other classes and like expanding something, maybe getting a minor. I want some extra time. Is it okay if I don't do the show this semester? And that show would have been Be More Chill. And he was like, well, you kind of have to audition at least. If you get in, you'll do something small, is basically what he said. Granted, when I got in, I was cast as the swing, covering 7 tracks, which is the most stressed I've ever been in my entire life. But so like, and I was like, okay, and at the end of the day, I had a great fucking time doing that show, so I'm glad I did it. But the person playing Michael got nodes, like serious nodes, and had to drop out, and I was asked to do that role. The same day that I broke up with my long-term girlfriend.
Did not know that.
And I remember
I didn't realize it was the same day.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
Oh yeah. Broke up with her that afternoon, went to rehearsal, and the director was like, hey, Jack, so this happened. What do you feel about being Michael full-time? And I was like, and I must have just like not been excited, because I was like, sure. I was like, at this fucking yeah, great.
Why not?
I didn't say that. I was like, I guess, Joe. Just say names.
That's fine. Good luck editing that.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jack.
oh, sorry. And I was like, fine. No, I got it. I saved you right there. Don't even worry.
He did.
And so I just remember like that first rehearsal, I was like nothing about anything. I was just stressed, and like, so basically my point is, going through this whole process, I had like such like an unnecessary like thought that I had to prove myself, because I was coming from like an understudy type role going to like a bigger role as a sophomore, and I had never had a big role in a show. So I just like pushed myself way too fucking hard. I got sick all the time, but I felt like I couldn't say anything because I was like trying to not be that guy, whatever that means. And also I was like going through a breakup, also not thinking that I wanted to do theater. So it was a lot. And I got diagnosed pre-nodes from that show, because I was again pushing myself, singing a song that I probably couldn't sing, and even if I could, I was singing it in the incorrect way ever. And so when I got pre-nodes, I then had to drop out of another show the next semester.
Can I interject really quick?
Yeah.
Thank you. The girl I was dating at the time went and saw that show and saw you perform the part that you did. And she said you hands down stole the show from everyone. So
Yeah, and now you're not dating that girl anymore, Brendan. So
she was a liar and a thief.
Yes.
No, she came out.
And the girl that I was dating, who I saw the show with, we're not together anymore either.
No one's together.
What's the moral of the story?
Did she like me?
You see Be More Chill, it's the kiss of death.
Yes.
And that's what this podcast is titled.
Yes.
The Kiss of Death, colon, Be More Chill.
Yep.
Yikes.
Hilarious. Anyway, I was just
I appreciate that. So yeah, and then the head of the program was like, well, how does your inability to sing right now factor into your journey in theater? And I was like, fuck, I haven't even thought about that. And I was like, well, this makes it so much easier to be like, I can drop this for now, because I was like, I can't do. Yeah, I was like, I literally cannot do half of the major for like the rest of the semester, at least not fully. And then the next, that summer I was in conversations, and then I changed my major to English, and equally a degree that gets you plenty of jobs, much like musical theater degree.
True.
They
gets you a lot of them.
Such a good market for English majors studying creative writing, which was awesome. Genuinely, like I realized that a lot of these students who were learning how to write or exploring writing didn't like necessarily know how people spoke. And so I was like, oh, I do theater, which is like studying humans and how they speak and act and like what they would do in certain situations based on XYZ, what emotions look like without telling you what the emotion is, which is a lot of acting. Whereas a lot of people writing these short stories would be like, they were sad and he said, how were you feeling? I'm like, that's not how anything works. So it was a cool discovery there. And then, I don't know, I feel like I've been droning on about nothing, but I wanted to take like one class my senior year, one musical theater class. I had a meeting with the head of the program, and I was like, is there any way I can get into one of these classes? And he was like, well, the most important class would be senior studio and biz of the biz. And he was like, I can't get you into those if you're not a major. And so then I was like, fuck it, I'm back. And I had enough credits from English to be an English minor. So I was like, I got some piece of paper that said that I spent that year doing something, and I learned a fuck ton, and it was like genuinely great. But like the other, when I wasn't in class or reading or writing, which that entire major is just reading and reading and reading and reading, and then like,
it's almost like it's titled English.
I know. There was a semester where I had to pick up 27 books at the library, and I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I kept all the books. So I have a great library of books that half of them I didn't read.
Jesus.
But on the social aspect of that, I was in a weird place mentally, and like, because like you have this set group of friends. Again, tell me to stop. But you have like this set group of friends in theater, and then when you go outside of that, it's like, it's weird. Like, can I still interact with you in the same way? Can I, like, when the freshmen were coming in, I like wanted to be friends with them because they were friends with all my friends, but I didn't.
The freshman musical theater, you mean?
Yeah. And so I was just kind of like skating in a weird limbo of like not knowing who my people were or like where my place was, because I wasn't like fully invested in an English major, and like I didn't scout out 27 colleges for their English program. And I was like, Penn State's a great school, but I wouldn't be like, this is a school I go to study English necessarily. It's still a great school for English. And I, again, had a great fucking time. But anyway,
that's interesting, like a weird, though. How do you, like, so what are the answers to those questions? Can you interact with people outside of musical theater major in the same way?
I feel like a lot of my like holding back from or like not being able to interact with people in the same way was just on me, because I felt like an imposter. Not to bring Among Us back into this, but I felt like an imposter sometimes. Sorry, like doing the same thing and like going to like theater parties and like it felt weird. And so like I bought a skateboard and I would just skateboard around town listening to music. And I thought that cigarettes were gonna be my thing. And I wore jean jackets and skinny black jeans.
You were an English major.
And I just like
you were
roamed.
figuring your shit out.
I went all in on English. And it was the weirdest, because that's not me, obviously.
No.
Obviously.
The jean jacket. Yes.
I do still have the jean jacket and those jeans.
Skateboard and the cigarettes, maybe not. Maybe not.
Skateboard is somewhere in storage, but yeah.
Pro Skater 2 coming to the Switch. Pro Skater 1 and 2 coming to the Switch.
I'm low-key very excited about that.
The remake's great. That was all whiskey.
Months.
Yep.
You good? Sweet.
Yeah. Yep.
Months ago on this podcast, we touched on specifically the toxicity surrounding, I would say, theater programs in general. It wasn't necessarily a call out to Penn State in particular. It was just like, theater programs seem to have this sort of toxicity that continues both in and outside the building. And I was saying a point that I made, and I think you know this, Jack, that I went and did theater outside of the School of Theater very often. Actually, I would go and work with other theater groups on campus and whatnot. And there was this sort of not even like not talked about, but sort of I felt like sometimes I was looked down upon for doing that, or other people who were participating in those things were looked down upon for doing those things. And there was a sort of like exclusivity that would occur in the theater building, whether people like intended for it to happen or not. I don't think anyone was intending for it to be malicious, but it's a group of people who take their training very, very seriously, and and that just comes with a set of limitations for the outside world sometimes. How much of you being gone and the being strayed outside of the program did you feel was in your head about your being able to communicate with your former classmates and the freshmen and everything that you mentioned? And how much of it did you feel like, oh, well, now that I'm not part of this, is there an exclusivity going on here? And am I being affected by it because I'm no longer part of that? Does that make sense? Does that question make sense?
Absolutely. I do think, like, looking back at it, a lot, like the majority of it was in my head, because like, the friends that I had were still my friends. I saw them the same amount of time. Obviously not
actually pretty surprising considering like how much time yeah.
I mean like with like y'all, I mean, at least with my class, just because the MTs had sanctioned parties for them, I went to those, and like I hung out with my buddies, and they're but at this, and even though I felt like an imposter on the inside, I was typically allowed there, and like no one really gave a shit. I mean, I do consider myself to be someone who like has like a select few people that are like I'm like very close to, and then most people I'm like kind of like, y'all are, I love you, and like I know you. I'm not like your best friend of all time right now. So I think like that was like fine, because I wasn't super close to like a lot of people. But like, at the same time, there were times where like I would show up to, without being specific, show up to a party, and like someone would either tell me to wait for a second to be, so that like other people were showing up, and it wasn't just MTs. Like there was still like the musical theater thing, and then they'd be like, just wait outside, which we all know Peter Hahn, and I would wait with Peter, and just to name drop my guy, and I would just like wait with him
regardless. I mean,
exactly.
I stand and like we like any day of the week.
100%. And I was just like, at the time I was like, this is kind of annoying, but like I don't really give a shit. But like looking back, it's shitty. Shitty. And like there were other times where like I was at I mean, like I'm not gonna say names, but like I don't, tell me if it's too specific, but like there's a senior send-off party, let's say, and I was like there saying goodbye to my friends, you know, to these people who I was in school with for at least 2 years. And then the third year, my junior year, their senior year, I was still hanging out with them, just like not all the time or as consistently. And I was like a little bit shunned for showing up to say goodbye to my friends, which was a strange feeling.
That's okay. If you don't have to.
I don't think I can. Okay. I don't think I can without being specific, but more just like kind of like stupid middle school BS where people are like, why is he here? Or like,
blah, why do you think he's here?
Shit.
Like, why do you think he's here?
Yeah, I'm saying goodbye to my friends. Also, the party was at my girlfriend's house.
Yeah, you were dating.
It was at her house, and I was hanging out with her. And I was like, goodbye to my friends. And certain people who will not be named were like, no, like, what is he doing here? Like, I'm like, first of all, I don't give a shit.
Why but like,
why do you care so much? Why do you care so much?
And that's the thing that's so frustrating. It's like, why do you feel like why does this like cult of exclusivity have to exclude someone who was part of the program, who's dating someone in the program, who's got friends in the program? Like, let him show up.
And I did a show that semester
with us.
You know what? Fuck it. I was the titular role. Okay, I was around these people. All right.
Yeah, that's true.
I was Peter.
You were. You were Peter and Peter in the Starcatcher. That's true.
My neighbors love me, by the way, especially when
so Jack, would you recommend that to someone? Like, if you had to go back, like, would you recommend someone like, hey, if you're not feeling 100% about musical theater, take a year, like do this thing that I did?
That's a good question. I think if you're going in to a musical theater program or any theater program, if you're going into a program that is that intense and specific and you have doubts, maybe don't do it, at least not immediately. If there's a program out there that lets you join later, like Northwestern or something like that. If you have doubts going into it, it's going to be tougher to make yourself believe or feel that this is like 100% the thing. And like at an intense program like Penn State, you have to be all in, or else it's first of all not going to be helpful to you, and it's not going to be fun. You know, it's just going to stop being fun if you're like thinking about other shit, or like not saying that you can't focus on other things, but if you're focusing on other things is rooted in the fact that maybe theater isn't for you and it's not just like an outside interest, then it's going to be tougher. That being said, I wouldn't necessarily suggest that leaving the program halfway through. I wouldn't recommend it. Me personally, I'm so glad that I did it. Like, even though, I mean, English has helped in the weirdest places, like the most unexpected places sometimes, maybe, that maybe I don't even know about. But it's like such a part of myself, the fact that I did this other thing. And like, I think I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't do that, or like who I am if I didn't do that. So for me, I wouldn't change a thing if I went back and did it.
Oh, right.
I wouldn't do anything differently. For other people, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. However, I wouldn't recommend it if you plan on coming back. If you're like, I hate theater and I'm really interested in this other thing, right, obviously do that. Always go with your gut, like no matter what, which is what I was trying to do sophomore year, and then I got kind of roped back in.
I mean, you were pretty lucky that you were able to come back into the program in such a, I mean, not easy way, but a pretty seamless, I would say. Like the transition wasn't terrible.
Granted, it was helpful because, you know, that year that I took off, I finished all my gen eds, you know, so my senior year I was only doing theater classes. Granted, I was doing
that's fantastic. I didn't know that.
I was doing junior and senior year at the same time. So it was a lot of work because junior year is intense for like the work aspect, and then I don't know why I'm holding a pen, and senior year is intense for like the thinking about the future. And I'm a writer. Actually I took it because I'm like, if I think of something, I don't want to forget it, but I feel like I've just been talking like a maniac, so fuck
That's what we do. Both of the podcast.
Yeah, that's how
I love it.
You think we write anything down ever? No, absolutely not.
No, I mean, why would you? But I forget what I was saying.
that you
yes. Junior classes are hard because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of studying, like genuine like schoolwork. Senior year is hard because it's like thinking about life and like learning about that. So it was definitely a difficult year. But luckily I didn't have to do gen eds. Maybe I had to do one. I don't really remember, but and I didn't have to do any extra work for the minor. So that's
pretty cool. I mean, I think crazy. Well, go ahead.
Oh, no, it just wasn't too crazy. Yeah.
We've talked about this. We've talked about this plenty of times, but I'm a big supporter in like taking a gap year, like really understand before you come into to college, really make sure that this is what you want. And like
that shit was required. I wish it was required that you had to do that.
It should be. Exactly. Absolutely should be. You shouldn't, as a 17-year-old, decide what you're gonna do for the rest of your fucking life.
Exactly. I just had to ask permission to go to the bathroom. Now I have to figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
Which goes back to what I was stuck in my head about, because like the decision I made back
fruit
then
snacks at lunch. I'm not deciding my life right now.
I'm eating Bosco sticks, and now I have a meeting with my counselor.
Bosco sticks. Oh my fuck! Sorry, Brendan is making good points, and Nick and I are just talking about
points, and I'm talking about Bosco sticks.
Continue, Brendan. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm tipsy now, so I don't even hear what I'm saying. No, but the decisions you make like then are like so clearly affect what's going on today for me, and it's like and again, it's like, it's not even that I would have changed my decision necessarily, because I do love my time at Penn State, but it is kind of like, had I had, hindsight 2020, had I known what was in store for me, I might have done things to prepare myself a little bit better. But instead, I was in college and I was like I didn't even, shout out to my parents for real. I didn't even realize how much I was being supported. I had no fucking clue.
Bro, if I didn't have my parents in college, in high school, if I didn't have my parents in quarantine, I don't know where I would be. I truly don't know. I like my mom, I mean my dad too, but like my dad's a dad, It's not as like, hey, let me call you and talk on the phone for 3 hours about like how you're feeling. Like literally I had a 2-hour phone call yesterday with my mom when I'm helping her move some more. And we were just talking. We ended up talking about how we think my constant night terrors as a child may have affected me creatively and mentally. Which is just like, and I'm like, I don't have these conversations with anyone, and it came out of nowhere. And I'm like, without my parents, I wouldn't. I don't know. I wouldn't be obviously who I am, but like I would be so lost right now. So shout out.
Yeah. I think COVID in general has really focused on
for sure
how important family is. You're kind of for many of the people that I know, at least my age, have resorted back to going to moving back in with their parents or something of a similar nature for at least a few months. And at first you're like, wow, I'm taking such a massive step backwards. This is really frustrating. Like I can't live at home again, blah, blah, blah. But then afterwards you really think, wow, this was a really good opportunity to just like see them or reconnect if you haven't been connected, or reestablish a connection that wasn't. And it's super important.
Going back home like allows you to like refocus like what you're like when you're not thinking about, hey, I need to pay this bill, or like I need to get my shower fixed, shit like that. When you're not thinking about that, it lets you just think about like so many other things, I found. And like,
for better and for worse, I should say, because I've been doing too much thinking in quarantine.
Fair. Dude, fair. But like honestly, all the thinking to be, I mean, like, hey, maybe I'm flexing here, but all the like deep thoughts I've been having in quarantine, good or bad, have always ended up good, because like even if you have like too many deep thoughts that might like shock you to even like discover, it's going to be good in the end. And like it's been a whole lot of that. It's been a lot of introspective
That's
shit.
awesome.
And like deciding hey, I've spent so much of my energy entertaining a friend or like a family member or like a blank, and it's like I don't need to, because right now you can't,
Right.
you can't. You can text them if you want, but like you don't have to. So like having that time and that space to be like, wait a second, these people aren't friends to me. I don't need to try this hard. It's been a, it sucks to feel that, but it's been nice to be able to be like, who am I? Who are my friends? Just figuring that shit out, which has been helpful.
And I mean, mental health in general is something that we talk about in this podcast all the time, as actors and within, like Brendan was mentioning, the toxicity within the industry at large, not only just school. So, I mean, I think COVID has been a really really tough in some senses. If you had plans, if you had shows that were going on, a bunch of our colleagues had shows that that got canceled and things like that. So, I mean, has that do you feel comfortable like talking about how that affected you, especially living in New York?
Totally. I mean, like so I was at Penn State going to do a reading of a show, and 3 hours in, I mean, we were rehearsing the reading on campus, and then we were going to do it at Two River, and 3 hours into the first rehearsal, the creative team left, and we were like, what's going on? The date is approximately March 9th, 2020. March 9th, March 10th, March 11th, around that time. So the beginning of the pandemic. And they came back and they were like, hey, it's canceled because it was going to be a reading for producers to hopefully produce a show. And they're like, well, no one wants to come, especially because it was in Jersey, and like Jersey wasn't doing too hot, and like New York wasn't doing too hot in the beginning, or like upstate New York at least. And so then, my time got cut short on a gig that I was stoked on. And then a lot of life things happened, and then I wound up in Florida, like all within a week. So it was intense. And like now being here in New York, it's been interesting because I mean, like, this is gonna sound heady and stupid, but fuck it. New York is like such a big fucking place, and it's never felt so gosh darn small. And like I have so many friends from like home, and like home in Connecticut, and they like all live here, and like I never see them, and I'm like I could like walk 5 blocks, let's say, to go see a friend, and I'm not, and I can't sometimes, but like it's not happening. So it's been doing a number for sure, in terms of like realizing, I mean, this is going back to what I was saying before, but like realizing people that I have to like talk to, as like plain and simple and basic human needs as that is, just like I'm surrounded by all these fucking people, and I can talk to like my mom and like some people. It's been interesting. Also, this is the longest time I've been single since high school, which it has been good to like spend time with myself, but it's also like I'm spending time with myself more than usual.
It's weird.
Because like even when you were alone, like in a relationship, you can every day you have one person that you can text or call, and they're gonna they're gonna come into this conversation knowing who you are, knowing what to say, knowing like your situation. And now it's like, if I were to reach out to a friend right now, I'd have to like give a backstory, tell them where I'm at, tell them like all of this stuff, and it's a very confusing place. But I think that's been good, because I think Jesus Christ, I'm just rambling now, but I think I've been like reliant on relationships since high school,
which is a huge thing to discover. Like that's major.
And like I've known that for far too long, for how many relationships I've been in.
But you still fall into the same
absolutely.
Well, it's comfortable. And I think it's extremely comfortable.
It's totally comfy. And like I think I'm finally at a point like now, not even like in quarantine. It's like today where like I can be like a relationship is can be good for you if it's what you want and like is with like a person that you want it to be with. But if it's just a means to an end, obviously that's not going to be good. And like I so many times I feel like there have been relationships where I'm like, I'm doing this because I feel like I should and it's right and it feels good. And then I'm like, no, I wanted to be comfy and it's not helpful in the end. It's not helpful. Even though it feels good. So yeah, anyway, that was a ramble that I wasn't expecting to go on, but here we are.
But that's
we appreciate it, dog.
That's kind of the point that, because I mean, to compare to what's ahead of us.
Yeah.
We're still relatively young.
Yeah.
We still are trying to figure out what to do for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Like good on you, Jack, for having your hand in so many baskets, because it's like you kind of have to cover your bases at this point.
Yeah,
because how many times have the four of us had a conversation with an artist or an industry professional where they're like, yeah, I had no idea I was going to end up here. Totally. It's like I had plans when I was your age. I had these plans, and 2 years after I graduated college, everything blew up in my face, and now I'm a casting director. Or now I live in, like St. Paul, Minnesota, and I own a dance studio in St. Paul, Minnesota. It's like they never expected to do that. So I mean, it's good to keep options open, to not, attach yourself too strongly to any one thing, because of course the wind is going to blow you. The winds of fate are going to blow you no matter how prepared you think you are, no matter how rooted you think you are. You never know where you're going to go.
Absolutely.
Like we're so young, we don't know anything.
For sure.
And which is like, I think I've like grown to love the unknown so much. I love not knowing necessarily where everything's going to line up. It's scary, and obviously we know that going into theater, but like I feel like even with theater, there's a set trajectory, and the way you get through that is different, but you know the steps that you have to take generally.
Yeah.
And yet, it's still a place where you're locked into being like, oh, I have to go walk 30 blocks, catch a train, and go to an 8 a.m. audition, wait out in the cold, and like probably not be seen. And if I am, I'll probably be cut, and all this bullshit. That is going to happen. And so like the unknown right now, because everyone is kind of in the same boat of being like, well, what is my life? What is my career? What is my relationship? All these things. It's kind of a new place, at least for me. It's kind of a new place for me. And I like it, like tomorrow, like, hey, at noon, I'm going to do a drunk stream and like raise money, like tip me this much and I'll give it to a charity. Like anything is possible. Yeah. Granted, I know that I'm in a place of privilege where anything is possible. Anything is possible within some sort of realm. And so I'm glad to have these opportunities that I've been given.
But it is just so true about like because I completely agree with you. I think when we first started this podcast a year ago, me, Nick, and Hash, like that was a thing that we would constantly talk about. Was one of the things that we missed about school was that like a sort of curriculum was given to us, and then we knew what we had to do to fit in that said curriculum.
Right.
And then that's what we do our entire life, because it's like school or parents, and they're just telling us what to do all the time, and we're just there. And then when we leave that sort of comfortable, safe battleground, it's kind of like, oh, you want to be actors? Okay, well, no one's going to help you anymore. No one's going to help you get there. No one's, or nope. Even not just actors, it's fucking any profession. No one's going to help you do this. It's going to be straight up all on you. To sort of make your own schedule and make the auditions and hopefully book an audition, but not really know what's going on. And I like the reality of that you shared, Jack. I think that a lot of people are sort of scared to say that sometimes. It's just like, no, you're probably going to be cut today. Like that's just like a thing that you know. Yeah. And ideally you won't. And maybe it's not helpful for you to come at it with that attitude, but like there's so many actors and not many jobs. Like that's just the fucking truth of it.
And go for it.
Yeah, I'll just finish super quick. Yeah. But it's just like I'm really into hiking right now. That's the thing that I do. I try and do at least once a week, but ideally like more. Like that's how much I love it. And what makes hiking so fun and something that just like boosts the adrenaline is not knowing exactly what's about to happen, not knowing exactly where you're going to go. Right now, I've been hiking on this one path that's like right on the Potomac River. I live in around the Maryland, Virginia area, so it's right in the Potomac River.
That's where my parents are moving, by the way. They're moving to the DC area. That's where my sister lives. That's where two of my exes live. That's where Graham currently lives. That's where everyone fucking lives, is in the DC, Maryland area.
My brother may move to DC soon, so like
everyone is moving to DC.
Tell your family if they need anything. Let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Anyway, sorry. Proceed.
But what makes those hikes so fun and adventurous is like, because it's on the Potomac, there are things to do that are off the path, that whether it's like some sort of rock climbing or some sort of sight to see. I actually found a fucking random chimney just in the middle of my hike this morning.
A chimney?
Like by itself. Yeah, it was a chimney. It was just a chimney place. It wasn't connected to anything. It was just sitting there. And I thought like, but that's what's ideal in that process is going and searching and looking for those things and kind of letting go of that control that I think searching for gets people so tense sometimes. If you look at it at like a grander scale, this idea that you don't know what tomorrow holds, and instead of letting that scare you, but almost using that as a tool, which it kind of sounds like is what you're doing, is this idea of like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but I'm excited to find out, as opposed to feeling like I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do tomorrow, and that makes me not want to do anything because that shit's scary. Totally. I think I've also come to like a very similar conclusion during this quarantine, and I don't know that I would have gotten there at least as quickly as I did without the quarantine happening.
Absolutely, I totally agree, and like I think specifically in theater, we are told that the unknown is a part of your journey. Like you have to like accept that you don't know what tomorrow will hold, which is fair. You go job to job, you go paycheck to paycheck as an actor. If you pop off and you get some success, you get that new TikTok entryway into SAG-AFTRA, baby. Then good for you, and you can be comfortable. But if you're not at that level, then you are told that it is so whatever. But like in that theater unknown, there is a clear way to what we deem success. And this is something that I am currently discovering right now. This is proving that I need to go to therapy, because I'm having thoughts that I've never had before.
We all proves that all of us need to go to therapy.
Yeah, we all need therapy. It's all of us.
And I haven't had these thoughts before, so I'm sharing them as if I have, but I haven't. But I think it's interesting that we're told it's all about like, oh, you don't know what's going to happen. It's like, yeah, you do. You're going to go on an audition at 8 a.m. and then you have a self-tape that you have to finish by 4 p.m. and you're going to send those into your agent, and they're going to like tell you, they're going to give you notes, and then they're going to give them back, and you're going to fix them, and then you're going to edit them and send them off. It's like, what's going to happen. You might not know what jobs you're going to get, but the basic things. And I think what you're saying, that the quarantine is allowing us to live in that place of like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but like, let's use that I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow to change it and be like, I can do whatever tomorrow because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
And I don't know that necessarily works for everyone, and it totally might not. But absolutely. I think instead of looking at it as this scary sort of unknown, you like using it as like, I think that's brilliant advice, Jack, is using that as kind of a motivator, or using that as a tool to be excited about. I think really helps change the mindset. I do know, I don't know if this is the best example of it. I do know that had I spilled beer on my laptop a year ago, that is something that I would have absolutely just lost my shit about, because that now that's something that's no longer in my control, and the sacrifice to getting it back in my control is significant. let me tell you, I spilled, and I told Hash this the other day, I spilled beer on my laptop. I was like, oh, yeah, got a towel. I did my best to cure the situation. I was like, well, damn. I guess we'll see what I do tomorrow to fix it. And I went to bed. And then like I've been super as disappointed as I am about the situation. I've been super like copacetic and just like waiting for my next bit of information to, and right now that next bit of information is it's working currently. When it turns off, that's when it's time to do something different. That's but right now we're keeping it moving forward.
Great.
I guess that's my life. When it stops working, that's my life.
It's like, that day I might buy a new computer. Will be that day.
I've been writing a lot in quarantine, and when my laptop runs out of battery, when it's like you have 5% left and it's like go grab a charger, I'm like, no, I'm gonna let it die. I'm gonna save, let it die, and then do something else right now. And I totally
that. I love that. That's fantastic, Jack.
Yeah,
that's sick.
And like what I also have discovered recently, because to be fair, animation is the weirdest fucking thing, because you can spend 17 hours on drawing 2 seconds of animation, and people are like, yeah, it looks pretty good. And like, I just killed myself to do this, and you don't think it's the best thing ever? It's like, yeah, because it's a chick picking up a coffee cup and taking a sip. Like, it's not impressive, but it takes time,
right?
And so I was grinding a lot, and I can't talk fully like in detail about the project that I'm on, but like it was a lot of prelim stuff, like getting character design down and like getting motion down and set design and stuff like that, which is shit I know fucking jack all about, which is exciting to not know anything, and people be like, here's some money, go figure out what you think this show should look like or what this thing should look like. And I'm like,
sure,
cool. It's exciting for everyone to just hopefully it's exciting, and they've expressed, at least on a surface level, that it's exciting, that I don't know what I'm doing and I don't have a style, and it's nice to not have a drawing style right now, because it can be anything and it's just going to grow. But then I've discovered that taking a break, I've never felt that like I've usually been like, oh, I'm so worn out, I need to like take a break and like have a beer and watch YouTube. But I haven't felt it to this degree like ever, I don't think, because it was like 2 straight weeks of grinding, and then I like had 3 days off, and I like felt stressed because I didn't know what I was doing for a second, and I was like, whoa, it's okay to take a second off,
100%,
and just recharge, 100%. And it's going to be more useful in that. And like, I'll like watch some things on like how to animate maybe during that day off, and then I'll go drink and like play Mario Kart and like, I don't know, play Warzone or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I suck at video games, so but yeah, I don't know. I think taking a break is like the most useful thing to be productive, ironically. Yeah.
I would agree. I think the balance,
totally.
I think the balance often comes with what is taking a break, like what is an actual break, and then when is the line of procrastination coming. And I think that procrastination actually works for some people. Like I think as much as we villainize that term, I think that a lot of people use procrastination to do their absolute best work, like putting themselves against the clock, backing themselves in a corner. That really works for some people.
I did that 100% of the time as an English major. I waited for like either day of or day before to write any essay, and it was
right. My sister's an English major, and that's exactly the same sentiment. She's like, I work best under pressure. That's just what I do.
It's true. And like and it's horrible for your heart, because you're just,
oh my god, yeah, she's stressed out all the time.
Oh my god, because here's the thing, when you work on something gradually, you're like, yeah, I'm kind of stressed, and you're like blah blah blah, but then like when you like,
but there's a process.
When you save it for the night before, the whole week or whatever leading up to the night that you do everything is so much more stressful than when you're actually
just a week. Why just a week?
If Dr. Russell ever listens to this, I'm sorry, but that 15-page paper that we had to write, I waited until the last 2 nights before to finish it. And I stayed up until at least 4 a.m. 2 nights in a row.
Dude, Dr. Russell is one of my favorite professors. I remember starting my essay in a Starbucks at like 7 p.m. 2 nights before it was due. and I was stressed as fuck, chugging coffee. But then I wrote like one of my favorite thing I've ever written before in my entire life.
Same.
Like it was 15
Oh, I love
pages.
that. I love that paper.
Oh my God.
Some people.
I brought a copy of it with me to my apartment. My mom was like, "Do you want this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm proud of this."
100%.
And I don't care if it's shit or not. I love this essay. And I fully believe in it, even if it was my drunk / coffee fueled brain writing madness.
Sometimes it's brilliance, dude.
Exactly. And that's, the Beatles got most of their hits from LSD trips and no sleep, man. Like,
it's true.
Just saying. Anyway,
the Stuck in My Head podcast does not. The Stuck in My Head podcast does not recommend you take LSD.
No,
endorse it in order to.
That's awkward.
Get the creative juices flowing. Just so we're clear.
Here's the thing. If you wanted to go buy LSD, let's say like online somewhere,
true,
you might want to invest some. I mean, you could get a free trial, but ExpressVPN actually has a lot of options for you to,
I'm gonna
keep your IP private. But also the added benefit.
That was fucking gold, dude. That was fucking.
I was either gonna go HelloFresh Squarespace or
ExpressVPN. I think
I feel like NordVPN or
NordVPN
Squarespace would have.
Been. When I procrastinate, I sometimes like to take my anger out on things. Unrelated. Have you guys heard of Raid Shadow Legends? I can't.
We've come full form.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
I want to say this on the podcast. I don't think this will make it, and I know that we've gone over an hour and a half, and I know that
we're close. We're actually
you're fine, dude.
We're about to touch an hour.
No. I just want to say this on podcast. This isn't for the podcast. You know what? I'll save it for after the podcast. I'll talk to you guys after the recording.
Oh.
No, it'll be a waste of time. It'll be a waste of time right now. I'll tell you after we're done recording, at least. Anyway, okay. I've opened my third drink.
Love it.
I'm only 2 drinks in. I need to catch up.
I'm just drinking straight tequila right now. So that's where we're at.
So I was low. I was low on whiskey, and I was trying to pour. Let's be fair, 2 double shots into my Manhattan. My tolerance is either I take half a swig of beer and I'm done, or I can drink 27 shots and I feel nothing. Like it's
allegedly, yeah,
one or the other. So I just poured the rest of my whiskey in my Manhattan. It is
have fun.
I don't really feel anything. So today was a strong tolerance day.
Good for you, man.
But I truly it's back and forth. But yeah, I mean,
Jack, do you have anything to promote that people should go check out
other than Jabo Games? And
Jabo Games, obviously.
Listen, check out Jabo Games on Twitch. However, I haven't streamed in a while. But if you want to see some like funny content, I have a few highlight videos on my YouTube channel called Jabo Games. There aren't a lot there, but the ones that are there, I'm super proud of, and I've spent days editing these things. And I've gotten like texts from people who are like, "I didn't know you did this." I'm like, "Yeah, cool. I'm glad it reached people." I put a lot of work into them, and they're fucking, in my opinion, hilarious. It's mostly not me. It's mostly the game or weird memes that are in the edit. But yeah. I would say check out Jabo Games on Twitch, but I haven't been streaming very constantly recently. Hopefully I can get back to that. I also would promote another podcast, but I don't know what the future of that is at the moment specifically. But genuinely, you know what? Fuck it. If you look up, it's on Alexander Sajoyan's YouTube page. We have 3 episodes out. They're going to be added to Spotify later, where nice. we talk to specifically at the moment composers of musicals. Hopefully the podcast is going to pick up again soon. We took a break because we're both working on another project. but we talked to people like David Zippel, who wrote Go the Distance and many other things. We talked to David Zippel, we talked to Larry O'Keefe, we talked to incredible musical theater writers.
That's awesome.
And and we have 25 episodes in the fucking bag done like 2 months ago. And it's just, editing, as y'all all know, editing a podcast is a lot of fucking work. It might not be hard, but it takes time.
Yep,
and we're trying to cut them down to like 30 to 40 minutes. And when we speak for 2 hours, it takes extra time. So it's another thing I'm discovering is that that juggling a bunch of projects is tough. But yeah, the podcast is called In Process. In Process. Cool. It'll be, if you're listening to this at a later date than when it's posted, it'll probably be on Spotify, and we'll probably have more episodes on YouTube. But it's great. I highly recommend. At the moment, we have we spoke first to Maria Wearies, who is also a Penn State grad.
We love Maria.
Yeah, we talked about her debut album, which is absolutely incredible. I honestly, genuinely, hands up, didn't listen to her EP before we interviewed her, and then when in preparation for interviewing her, I listened to the EP. It is so good. It is so good.
Wow, I'll definitely check it out.
I forget specifically the name of the EP, but it's by Maria.
It'll be in the
Just Keep
biography or whatever.
Description. Yeah. It's called Just Keep Singing is the name of it. Just Keep Singing. Cool. It's incredible. And then we have John Bacchino and Joe Iconis. Those are the three that are up right now. And it's great. I hope we get back to it. I can't. Yeah. Those are the only fucking things that I'll promote right now. I don't know. I don't know. I can't talk about too much. Anyway, come follow my Instagram where I post once a year.
and we'll see everything that's going on in just that one post.
Yeah, except my one post this year was just me singing a bullshit song.
It's great.
But hey,
I want to see it.
I threw that. It's oh, thank you, Nick. I threw it on my Hinge profile, and let me tell you, people don't care about it. But it's at the bottom, so it's fine.
Let me tell you, people run away from that shit.
Dude, someone responded to it. They were like, I bet you got all the ladies with this. I was like, you might think.
No. That was the goal.
But, not at all. It's mostly people being like, huh? Or nothing. It's good. I would also like to promote the show New Girl on Netflix. I've been rewatching it. I'm only relating to Nick these days, and I'm scared.
Everyone relates to Nick at one point in their life.
That's probably true.
But like, I always related to like Nick and then like someone else. But like,
no, everyone relates to Nick at some point in their life. It's okay.
2 people, including someone I went on a date with, told me that I was just Nick Miller from New Girl.
And I was like,
I take that as a compliment.
Damn.
I take
it as a compliment.
I dated someone who told me I was Nick.
You are Nick.
I dated someone who told me I was Nick Miller and only Nick Miller from New Girl.
You're Nick, and then I don't know who else.
No, I'm Winston.
Like 50%. I could see it. Oh my god, yeah, of course.
Totally a Winston.
Of course. I used to think I was Nick and Schmidt, but I think I'm just Nick these days.
No. Yeah, I think I might agree. I might agree.
I think you're just Nick.
But we love Nick. We absolutely.
No, Nick's great. Nick's
fantastic.
Nick's easily one of my favorite.
I relate to everything he says. Also, Jake Johnson is just an incredible actor.
Jake Johnson's incredible actor.
Jake Johnson's the boy.
He is my favorite Spider-Man of all time. No question.
Not bad, kid.
Okay.
Nice.
Not bad, kid.
Nice.
I mean, I could cry just thinking about the line. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Speaking of Spider-Man, I know that the podcast is ending, and I'm just going to keep delaying it because I like you people. Speaking of Spider-Man, they finally you people.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. No Way Home.
Yep, that's what it is.
I'm excited.
Their little promo run that they did to introduce it was cute. I thought it was
I loved it.
That. Yeah, no,
the three of them
that's not
have
a diss at all.
Yeah. Oh no, I know. The three of them have
Yeah.
great chemistry. I'm so
they're fantastic.
Yeah, I love them. Zendaya is
fantastic.
stupid talented, and
She's
she
awesome.
can act like the whole spectrum
She's
so
awesome.
far. I mean, granted, we've seen like Spider-Man and Euphoria, so it's pretty opposite.
Well,
but
Malcolm and Marie too. I don't know if you guys have seen that one yet. Malcolm and Marie.
I don't know that.
She's
okay. Great.
It just came out. I think it's on some streaming service, but it just came out.
Sure.
And it's her and Denzel's kid. I always forget his fucking name. But it's just two of them, and they kill it. Highly recommend.
Sweet.
Also, can we expect a Pokemon Direct in the next couple of days? Pokemon Day is on Saturday.
Bro, I hope.
I
am so let down from the Zelda.
That direct was so massively disappointed. I was so massively disappointed.
I almost posted for the 35th anniversary of Zelda. I almost made an entire Instagram post for it. Then I realized that it was one of my friends from home's birthday that same day, and I was like, "Well, I haven't posted for
what do
her."
I do now?
So I can't post for a fictional character in a video game. So I didn't do that.
Fair.
But I do have the tattoo. I do have the Triforce light. I do have the Breath of the Wild box edition. Oh, right there.
Yep.
Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. That I didn't purchase the game in. I bought the empty box on eBay because I wanted it.
Get out of here!
Nice.
It was cheap.
Oh
I
my God.
I just
Respect,
wanted
dude.
the box. I
dude.
played that game
like
and I was like, this is my new favorite game of all time. So fuck it. I'm gonna pay what, like $10 for a box. Why not?
Boom.
Anyway. Cool. I'm sorry if this is useless. If none of this is usable.
No,
I feel like I had so many things
usable,
I wanted to talk about and I didn't even get close. But that's okay.
We'll bring you back, dude. We'll bring you back. This was a lot of fun.
Part 2.
This was a lot of fun.
I had a good time.
I do think it's time to wrap it up.
Really?
I think so.
Jack, did we talk to you about how we end the show or no?
No. I'm nervous.
No. Okay,
do I have to strip?
Yes.
Yes, it's mandatory. We won't post
Usually it's just one of us, but I mean,
it's gonna be
we all can.
Yeah.
This time, that's fine.
Nah, it's all right. Wait. Also, like, side note, when you're done with the podcast, when we do the closing, can I speak to you guys after? Also,
absolutely.
Half a second.
You may.
Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely, dude.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we end each podcast with us just kind of saying something good or bad, and we're not allowed to react to it. So
I don't know what that means. Okay.
The thing that comes into your head.
Like, the format would be like Jonathan will say, "I'm Jonathan," and then I'll say, you'll see, and you'll just go last, and I think you'll get the hang of it.
Okay, I'm so nervous. I'm like really nervous. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, here we
should I
go.
go do some push-ups? Okay, yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening. I'm Jonathan, and I haven't logged any of my meals into the tracking app today. So,
did you got to do that? I'm Brendan, and on my hike today, I learned that if I'm wearing black and I'm climbing up a mountain, I look like a black bear.
I'm Nick, and I'm down 10 pounds from what I was 2 months ago.
Bro. I'm Jack, and throughout all that time, I wasn't thinking about anything to say, but I purchased 32 beers tonight. Two cases of 16. It's actually 15, so it's 30 beers.
Nice. All right.
Very
well,
good.
That's
thank you
perfect.
guys for
We're
listening.
stuck in our heads.
We're stuck in our heads, guys. What a
We're
great way
stuck
to
in
end
our
it.
heads.
So embarrassed from
Thanks
that
for
outro.
listening. Don't be embarrassed. It's perfect.
No, that was great, dude.